This is a peek at a corner of the U.S. Sibley chart that I had pulled and made separate videos about. But I wanted to point out that asteroid Indiana was on Apophis, which is a chaos and destruction regeneration. And this was for April 3rd is when I pulled this. So it would be the night of April 2nd, April 3rd. And that is when Bourbon was hit very hard in Indiana by tornadoes. A tornado. Anyway, so I just wanted to show this from the U.S. Sibley chart. And this is the chart for Marshall County, which 13 counties in Indiana were actually formed at the same time. So they share the same birth chart. And that area up there around many of the counties actually have had a lot of storm damage as well. Bourbon, of course, got hit really hard. Valparaiso, over I think that's Porter County, was hit by winds just the week before really badly. And of course, that's Manwe, the god of winds. So this is Marshall County, and I threw in, there was a tornado that hit in Donaldson. Beautiful area with a wonderful college that supports the community. You see, it's Gemini rising, Sagittarius, higher education here on the descendant axis. Lots of local people go to that college. There's a lake there called Gilbert Lake, and the tornado started up around that area, I believe, and traveled for quite a while. I forget the specifics. So this is a chart that I pulled from March 30th, 2025. And as I said, this is the birth chart for Marshall County. And everything inside at the time of the creation is where the planets were when the counties, those 13 counties, were created by legislature. And on the outside here, we have the transiting planets up in the sky, and they generally go in this direction counterclockwise unless it's a node of fate, which are the horseshoe shapes, and anything that might be retrograde. So you can see I've marked the chart all up with all kind of things. I never have enough colors to show everything, but a lot was going on there March 30th. And that was when the Donaldson tornado happened. What the biggest thing right then was Phaethon, which things spiraling out of control, and of course spiraling is also related to tornadoes. On March 30th, it was conjunct Neptune, and we had a cluster here of Venus, Phaethon, Neptune, and Mercury. The chart ruler is Mercury because it's Gemini rising. They were all conjunct here on asteroid Gilbert Franco in the natal chart. So I think Phaethon was conjunct. When did it go? Let me look up when it had also just stationed direct from retrograde. I thought so. It was that date that Phaethon stationed direct. Now, anytime any planetary body stations to go direct or retrograde appear to move backwards, the energy is strongest. So it went direct conjunct Neptune, and right here on Gilbert. So that connects to a whole bunch, to the natal Mercury here, 10th house, public house. Now, all in Pisces here. And, they got, Marshall County got in the news quite a bit, not just from so much this tornado, but when Bourbon was hit. And I do have Bourbon included, and you see it's right here opposite. Manwe, the god of winds, is connected to that cluster here, Gilbert, to this Bourbon here. And to the natal storm, which had transiting Lilith sitting on it, to the part of fortune, which is the luck and lot of the person, place, or thing. And there was a solar eclipse partial coming up September 21st, connecting right across from where Phaethon went direct and across from Gilbert. So eclipses go 6 months to a year either way. So I've put in eclipses from the last year up through the end of this year to kind of show how things match up. So let's see, Manwy on Bourbon. Now, of course, that was just a couple of days later that everything was activated for Bourbon with the planetary things moving. Mercury had just moved into Aries, which is ruled by Mars, and it was at 0 degrees 4 minutes. So 2 days later, it was activating this here in the part of fortune and Lilith. This is Taurus, which is the eye of the storm, and of course Mercury was activating that. Seems like there was something else. Mercury and Lilith. Lilith is a destructive force also. I think I left something out that was also 0 degrees, but it takes a lot of work to do all this and remember what all to put in. So, let's see. We also had the new moon partial eclipse March 30th, which was the day of the Donaldson tornado. And Phaethon went direct, of course, and at 8 degrees 53 minutes, that's almost 9 degrees. The rising is 9 degrees 31 minutes. The moon is 9 degrees 19 minutes. And so, of course, when you have a new moon, eclipse, full moon, the moon is going to be affected. This is a 12th house moon, so it's ruled by Neptune, which was conjunct Phaethon and Mercury and Venus here. Venus would rule our assets. It would rule the people and things we value. It rules our money. Yeah, so let's see. And the moon is the people, land. So it was hit by this eclipse here on March 30th. Marshall County was. And then it also connects to, let's see, this is the, oh, Venus and Mercury had gone retrograde right here, connecting to this eclipse. So their energy was stronger, Mercury being the chart ruler. And then the eclipse connected the moon to flood in Apophis in the natal chart here. And this is the 8th house, which is a house of transformation, to put it nicely, ruled by Pluto. So we have Sturm here also in the natal chart. It's 8 degrees 53 minutes directly opposite this to the minute. 8 degrees 53, 8 degrees 53 to the partial eclipse. Sturm is German for storm. So you can see when it has an exact hit like that and it connects to so much else, and then with the other planets going retrograde. Well, out here we also have this as asteroid rain at 9 degrees 21 minutes. That's going this direction, crossing over the eclipse point and squaring to the flood in Apophis. There was a lot of rain as well as the tornadoes. They're worried about flooding now up there. Still, I mean, it's everywhere, but that the U.S. Sibley chart shows all that. And of course, the sun was conjunct rain. Next to the ascendant descendant, Charybdis. I think it's really funny that it was at 9 degrees 36 minutes, which is a prefix for the biggest town in Marshall County. But is also connecting in a karmic inconjunct to the eclipse. And Charybdis is a celestial sea spirit or monster whose gigantic whirlpool swirled in the straits of Messina opposite the cliffs of the monster Scylla. Daemon of the tides, with her thrice daily sucking up an expulsion of the waters. mentioned by Homer as the cause of the 3 high and low tides of the day. Its asteroid shows power so great that the person destroys their chances of ever harnessing it. So you could also correlate that to, the tornado having powers that couldn't be harnessed. So, okay, so I think that's the end of the orange ones, except for we did have the solar new moon eclipse last October at 10 degrees. That also connects. It just kind of puts this ascendant and descendant of Marshall County right here in the middle of this 9 and 10 degree eclipse here, opposite each other. Aries is the identity, and anyway, not here to teach astrology, just kind of show the transits and how they all match up. A birth chart can be made for a city, a town, county, a state, a country, as well as for people, pets, everything else, as long as you know the time of origin. Events also, I did later find I could make an event chart and show exact to the moment where all the planets are. But I chose to do it in this format here. I have another one where I did a triple composite for Bourbon, Marshall County, and Indiana that I'll also try to get to while I'm doing this. So, next we're going to go to, you remember that eclipse we had April 8th, 2024 is at 19 degrees, 22 minutes. And that was that total eclipse that went all the way across the country. I believe that's the one that lasted for 4.5 minutes. The ancients said that the eclipse duration in minutes is how long the things would last in years. So we are now a year into the 4.5 years of that eclipse. So connecting to this eclipse here, we have transiting asteroid Gilbert Baker at 18 degrees 44 minutes. And of course, it's going this way, just about a degree from that eclipse, but it's squaring the sun of Marshall County. And it's sitting on the Nessus, which is an asteroid of destruction also. Trouble. Nessus is generally a very troublesome asteroid. So it's also making a karmic inconjunct over here to Bourbon location specific at 18 degrees 26 minutes. So 2 days later, Bourbon gets hit, and it's connecting to this also. And connecting to the sun. And this down here is transit Sturm at 1850. Connecting to Bourbon and squaring Gilbert Baker. Now, of course, the name of the lake was Gilbert Lake. This is Gilbert Franco in transit at 19 degrees 49 minutes. That's also connecting in a square to that eclipse, that total eclipse. So, fortunately, there was mainly just land damage and some barns, I think, that got damaged, not people. But as you can see, that it lines up to the eclipses that it was right on time. So then we have, trying to remember why I put this here. Oh, Phallus. We'll go ahead and skip to the grays. All right, so Phallus is connecting still to this 10-degree eclipse, and Phallus is there when the cork is popped, when something happens. And you can see that Phallus, Donaldson was first hit here, so it's connecting to that eclipse, but it's also connecting to, this is Tornado, asteroid Tornado at 1247. It's connecting to Insidinia at 1131, which the sun was conjunct that for the Bourbon eclipse. Bourbon tornado. Insidinia being an incident. The sun shines light on things. So it connects to the Donaldson location specific, 1105 retrograde. And when I say location specific, this is something that I've figured out that I don't think anybody else has, so I'm not ready to give it away. But what is done is makes a T-square with the natal incidentilla, the transiting asteroid here of the specific, and it's making a square here, both of them to the tornado. Okay, and then it's also connecting over here. Change and Hades have been running together, and Hades is it's stationed direct March 26th, so just a few days before the Donaldson tornado. Now, Hades is related to understanding of and experience with basic raw energies, connection with natural universal laws, applied metaphysics, alchemy on the highest. It can also be neglect, degeneration, decay in a negative sense, resignation to primal elements of behavior, apathy, despair, resignation to the past. Anyway, there's so Hades is a big deal, and it was conjunct change. And of course, in the U.S. Sibley chart, it hit a lot too. We're undergoing massive change. And so, yeah, it's stationed direct March 26th. And so its energies were still very strong, change creeping up on it by the time Bourbon was hit. And then Kentucky got hit, everything got hit, change and Hades were conjunct. So you kind of get the idea there. So that all the silvers, transit incident. Okay. So then we have full moon partial eclipse that we had 25 degrees 47 minutes September 18th last fall, and that hit right here at the Uranus, which is chaos and the unexpected, in Aquarius here, 10th house. And I'm not going to go into the mundane or any other descriptions. I'm just don't want to get it wrong or have anyone misunderstand, but you can see it's a direct hit. Now it connects here to the natal phallus, and the full moon, April 13th, also connected to it at 23 degrees 19 minutes. That was just last week. I'm recording this on April 19th. And Eris at 24 degrees 52 minutes are connecting all to that eclipse from last September. But mainly, most important, in the natal chart, it hit the Uranus and the phallus. Now, there's probably other things I haven't put in that it hit. So these are the ones that I did put in. Now, then we have, there was a full moon eclipse March 25th at 5 degrees 13 minutes. And that was right when Hades stationed direct. And just before Phaethon stationed direct, the thing spiraling out of control. So connecting to the 5 degrees here, it's very close to the natal Sturm, German for storm. The vertex, Destiny's gateway, is 4 degrees 15 minutes connecting to it. Rain at 6:25 is only a degree and 25 minutes away from that. Then you have Hades here at 2 degrees. Now that's actually opposite chaos, but I'll get back to that. But the Venus in the 8th house, which is that house of transformation, it can be destruction, connecting to that eclipse March 25th. So then Damocles, which is a crisis at 6:38 here. And let's see, Mercury and Venus had gone retrograde in connection with that, as well as the other eclipses. The Lilith here, destruction, 12th house. Now this is ruled by Neptune. Anything that's here in this pie slice. And Taurus rules the earth and land. Uranus has been going through that, just tearing it up around the world. But so it connects to that. And change. The 4th house is the house ruled by that moon. and change is in the fourth house would be the homeland and people. So on the outside, connecting to that eclipse at 5 degrees. In transit, we have tornado at not quite 7 degrees, and then we have Taurus being in the eye of the storm, and that's in a karmic inconjunct to that eclipse, March 25th, and they were in the eye of the storm. Transit asteroid Bourbon and Manwe were conjunct, Manwe being the god of winds. Damocles crisis. Pluto at 331 here was also conjunct Poseidon. I forgot to put that in this one. And Poseidon is a ruler of the land and sea and earthquakes. So it's been traveling right here with Pluto. And I think that's all of that around there. So I didn't have those marked. Now the lightning bolts, the natal chaos for Marshall County at 1 degree 55 minutes connects to the natal Neptune. Now Neptune rules all of this 12th house here, which is the Moon, Jupiter, Chiron, Gilbert Baker, Nessus, Incidenia, Black Moon Lilith, and the Charybdis. So all of these here are ruled by this Neptune here in the ninth. And asteroid chaos in transit at 1 degree 51 minutes was right opposite the Hades, which I think it's more opposite exact right now. And making that, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, yes, karmic inconjunct chaos. A little slow. So all the light, and then to the Jupiter in the 12th house. Now Jupiter enlarges things, it expands things, it makes it bigger. Jupiter is also higher education, which would be, the college being hit too. But mainly it just expanded where Marshall County just got quite a bit. Let's see, take a little break. This is a post I'd made on my Facebook, so just to take a little interlude here, that Phaethon was conjunct Neptune at the world axis, which is 0 degrees Aries, and it's stationing direct, so it's extra powerful. And, it wasn't just Indiana that got hit, of course. The higher side of Phaethon is a phenomenon of unusual variety, and of course, Neptune is not just water, addictions, escapism, mental health, illusions, and delusions, but also the metaphysical and subconscious processes. Magic is also conjunct with Uranus, not only chaos, but the unexpected and the key to your inner genius and the higher self. So, I don't know why when I just started charting all of this. I was like, I just needed to show this. So, planet Pluto destruction and Poseidon, like I said, ruler of seas, storms, earthquakes, and horses, were conjunct and connected to Gaia, which is Mother Earth, Oceania, and Manwe, the god of winds and the land. Don't think I put Gaia actually in there in this particular chart, but I did in the Sibley. So Apophis, the chaos dragon of destruction, square Mars, the eclipse activator, ruler of the Aries eclipse, March 25th, and it was in a karmic inconjunct with Kaali, the goddess of destruction and awakening, in a yod, which is a finger of God aspect to the total eclipse 2 weeks ago. I think that was March 14th. So then Charybdis, the destructive sea monster, was in conjunct this eclipse. So that was just some of the Earth-related ones I had posted about. Now, something else, Algol. Uranus is conjunct Algol in Taurus. It was last summer as well. Algol is another crisis and intensity. And Uranus brings about the unexpected and, some chaos. And It was eclipsed April 3rd. Just something else that I tripped across scrolling on Facebook. Algol is considered the demon star, but if you look at it, it also can be seen as a higher form of changing things that aren't going right. So, Uranus is shaking things up to wake people up, and there's a lot of crazy going on with it being conjunct Algol. And since I was talking about Uranus here being near Algol, it's right near the Chiron, within 2 degrees. And opposite the Kaali destruction, the Donaldson location specific at 2359. So the blues and the purples, but you see Apophis here at 2337. I didn't mark it. Is in a karmic in conjunct to the Donaldson specific location on March 30th. 2337, 2359. So it also connects here to Saturn, which rules buildings, the land, structures, and it's conjunct Storm, 2415, 2436. So that is connecting here to the Kaali and Donaldson. This is asteroid Marshall County right here. Marshall, 24 degrees, 44 minutes, right opposite Uranus. Lots of unexpected things. That also connects to the natal Saturn here and to the eclipse March 14th when chaos went direct. So that connects to flood here, which is going this direction. So the flooding actually started getting worse. I know people up there that said they're worried about the flooding. Let's see. So Uranus, Apophis, Eris, transit Kaali here, Saturn storm. All of these are all lined up with Marshall. And the software skews it, but Marshall is actually on the Kaali and the Donaldson location specific, right on the Kaali destruction on the 30th. So this software skews it, but it actually is right here where Marshall is. Then we have the natal Marshall is opposite Chiron here in the 12th. So that got activated. The nodes of fate go this direction. They go clockwise. And this is the north node forward path. It was at 2725, connecting here to Marshall. I think they're connecting right now, right about now. So it took me a few weeks to do this. And let's see, I don't want to forget anything, but you can see there are a lot. Now, I didn't do the natal Pluto here at 12 degrees, 8 minutes also. I left that out when I was showing that Donaldson first got hit with Phallus and connecting to the tornado here in the Incidenia. I'm really good at forgetting things and change in Hades. In the transit, Donaldson location specific. Now, this is Poseidon at 16 degrees, 36 minutes, connecting to the nodes of fate in Marshall County's natal. And you can see the eclipse ahead, September 7th, 2025. It's a total eclipse. It'll be at 15 degrees, 24 minutes. It's sitting right on the Bourbon location-specific asteroid in Marshall County at 1507. And it's making a square to the nodes of fate. So Jupiter is also sitting on the north node. And Jupiter, of course, enlarges and it expands everything. And it's right opposite the Bourbon location-specific. Well, that's more 1826, but yeah, so you can see you've got a T-square going on here. Might be something down here also connecting to it. I don't know. But it makes a karmic inconjunct to the IC emotional foundation, is what it would be in a natal chart, which has Poseidon sitting right under it, or right at it. Poseidon being the ruler of the seas and land and earthquakes, etc. Opposite the midheaven, which is the public being out on the news. Let's see. I said that Pluto is connecting to Bourbon and Manwy. Chiron at 22 degrees 11 minutes. I ran out of colors. I couldn't color everything. So, let's see. That would connect to anything that's from about 20 degrees to 24, because we like to keep it within a 2 degree. Talked about that eclipse, that eclipse, that eclipse. So you can see how it ties into all the different eclipses. And Chiron now is actually opposite the Saturn here. It's more of 23 degrees. And my town is, where I live now, is actually conjunct that. So anyway, I guess it's right on time for me to do this today. I finally got some quiet time. The natal Phaethon here at 1846 also connects. What was it to Phaethon here? Anyway, I'm just going to keep wandering if I don't stop now. But you can see all the different connections if you slow down and you look, matching up the colors, and that there's probably something I forgot to point out. But I'm just going to go ahead and wrap it up and just show you if you take any of these placements around here by transit to your own natal chart, progress chart, city, state, and you can see what they match up when you connect them. So if your house was personally destroyed or affected by the storms, the flood, or any, you would see that it was connecting by degree to the various things. All right, so thanks for watching, and hope you learned something from this. Just hang in there. We'll get through this.